Hey, folks, I want to jump on here right quick and thinking about this and speaking from my own perspective about the holidays and keeping our mental health in check. It's not a good time of year for everyone. And again, I'll get in more details in the podcast, Savage Mind Podcast, Apple Play, and Spotify are my biggest distributors. It's on other platforms. There's a link at the bottom of every episode. If you would want to go subscribe, I would be very grateful. It's $10 a month or less, but it's not going to stop us. Obviously, the holidays aren't a good time of year for everyone. Everyone. It doesn't mean they're a Grinch. It doesn't mean they're a Scrooge. Speaking from my own life, it's just not easy. It could be an old loss of a loved one. It could be something new, financial situation, family situation, all the advertising and commercialism, and most of the people that keep this country going are working class people. Even if some of us have got out of the working class employee mindset, and let me just encourage anyone that has with the younger generations, we'll get it again, more details in the podcast. Please get them in the entrepreneur mindset, not necessarily passion, because there's a lot of things we're passionate about. I'm passionate about music and I have no musical talent. Because some of us being older, it is harder to pursue. That's why it's more important for us not to quit. A lot of people would like us not to see us doing what we're doing. It's never too late unless you feel it's too late. If you feel you're too old, that's what it will be. Please encourage these younger generations to create something on the side for themselves. And that doesn't necessarily mean student loan debt. It doesn't mean success is money. Create something for yourself so you have more freedom and you're not in the clutches and vices of someone else your whole life and not at someone else's mercy called an employer. While I'm at it, employers, it's a holiday season. Like I just said, 80% of this country is built on working class people. We're the ones that keep it running. Again, like I said, some of us are out of that mindset, but it is what it is. For now, we're still doing it, and we won't stop at nothing until we have more control over our life. But employers, organizations, bosses, corporations, do you really think that a lot of your employees, again, I'm speaking as a consensus, the majority, want to come to a Christmas party and pretend to put on a happy face and be around people they see all week long that they may or may not like? You may or may not like them, and they may or may not like you or respect you. Or it's a potluck. You want them to go spend money to make food when they already struggle with their groceries, struggle paying their bills, and bring it to food so everyone else can enjoy it. You want them to come up there and take their gift card. Maybe they didn't even get to go on vacation this year. Maybe they didn't get to take a lot of their PTO time, and then you tell them they can't. Do they want to roll it over or they're not going to get paid? So do you think someone would be happy about going to a holiday party? And again, I'm on the employers and organizations and companies right now. Maybe they didn't even get paid for Christmas, much less a bonus of any kind, much less anything extra. Not that they were asking to get it given to them. Maybe that possibly most likely they earned. Their loyalty, their commitment, they're showing up every fucking day. See, we as a lot of employers want people to be loyal and committed to them, but they're not to their employees. And this is what a lot of them are saying. In this economy, a lot of businesses are struggling, no doubt, ever since the COVID thing. We're about 3 years out of COVID. Still feeling the effects of that, everyone is. So, especially small business, really feeling it right now, no doubt. Here's the truth with most of it, though. If you couldn't even get a cost of living adjustment this year, or in the past years, but you want them to come to a holiday party or a potluck, well, they're not going to get anything. They're going to spend their money on food. They're going to make the food. They'll come up there for a few hours. People probably going to drink and try to forget their problems only so they can start back on Monday morning or whatever it is. You couldn't get them a cost of living, but you want them to come. Possibly, maybe, they didn't even get, say the holiday fell. I know in some situations it's like this. Maybe the holiday fell during the week. People weren't asking for anything extra. This has happened over and over with a lot of organizations and companies. Maybe it fell during the week. Wednesday or Thursday, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Didn't ask for anything extra. Let's say, what is $15, $20 an hour? times 8 hours. That's 120, 120, $200. I'm not even doing the math in my head. Depending on what you make. So you're telling your employees they're not worth that much at Christmas time. Not giving them anything extra that they earned, just subtracting those days. And then you want them to come up there and you want them to possibly, or maybe you even provide the food, which is a tax write-off. You want them to come up there and pretend like that they're happy to be there and everyone be fake to each other. This goes for other holiday parties as well. Friends, family. How many of y'all don't want to go to any of this? Friends, family, organizations, companies, your employer. But you go anyway and you put on a happy face and pretend to be fake. How many of y'all do that? That doesn't help your mental health. Let's normalize saying no. And here's another thing. Let's normalize also not taking what people offer. We were often told, our generation older, that we have to take what anybody has to offer, pretty much, or it's disrespectful or we're ungrateful. That's not the fucking truth. Sometimes you have to set your foot down and make a stand that, no, I'm not accepting that, because we both know that that's inadequate. And it's up to us to do something about it as well. Friends, family, employers. Even if you can't do it right now, it's our obligation to make that change. When you keep accepting these, they're called honeypots. The people giving honeypots, band-aids, and quick fixes. They give you enough just for you to shut the fuck up, and hopefully you don't say anything. Real bosses, the difference between a leader and a boss, whether it be a big corporation or small, knows the difference between legitimate concerns and complaints. They know the difference between an asset and a liability. And if you have to keep reminding them, then they don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter what you think your relationship is. You want these people to let me tell you something. Here's something else. If you got a cost of living adjustment this year, or you got a couple of dollar raise, but you didn't get anything the last 3 years, then you're still in the hole. Pay attention, because this is what they're going to say. Let me go back to this. They're going to say this year, the economy, that's real, no doubt. A lot of businesses are struggling, especially smaller businesses. But during the years that were lucrative, during the years that were gainful, during the years that there was a reasonable amount of profit, and they know it, they didn't do it then. So now it's a justified, validated reason why they can't do it. Nobody's telling you to give anybody anything. They want what they've earned. These people show up. They keep showing up for you. They're loyal. They're dependable. They're trustworthy. But some of you employers and organizations aren't with them. Again, you had it during the years that was gainful. You had it during the years that was profitable, and you know you did, and you didn't do it. So quit being fooled by these. But most of you already know if you've been screwed. Most people know if you're being taken advantage of. And let me ask y'all something else. Why do you feel like that you can't stand up to these people? Why do you feel like you can't stand up to your employer? Why do you think you can't stand up to your government? Why do you think you can't stand up to anybody that has a title, anybody that's in a position of authority, anybody that's in a position of leadership? Let me tell you something. Whatever you're worried about saying and the fallout, it's going to happen anyway. They don't value and respect you enough to take care of these things. If they got rid of you, they most likely would be doing you a favor. So please, let's just stop some of the holiday parties. And if they're not going to stop inviting, quit. Decline the invite or just don't go. It's an insult. And they know it's an insult. I'm speaking in general. You want people to come put on a happy face. You want them to pretend. And you want them to be happy about. Now, let me back up on this. It also depends on if you live within your means, below your means, or above your means. This is my perspective I'm coming from. And I'm going to talk about this more in the podcast. What do we think an average family of four it takes to make it these days? Let me come from this perspective. It depends on how much consumer and unnecessary debts you have. We're talking about, in a nutshell, average mortgage, whatever that is for your county or region. Talk about no credit card debt, no student loan debt, and let's say you got one car payment. So you got to have rent or mortgage, most likely, unless you've gotten something given to you, and a lot of you have. Car at any age, cars, land, and houses. Let's just say for the average person who don't have that, you got rent, you got mortgage. The average, You got one car note, not two. You got no credit card debt, no student loans, just your utilities, food, gas, and so I looked it up for our county. I don't have it right in front of me. I'm going to talk about it in the podcast. Since 2019 to currently 2023, and this was about 5 months ago I looked this up, the average rent or mortgage has went up $500 to $800 a month. It was around a little over $1,100 just for our area then, and it's between $1,500 to $1,800 right now. I read something else. I have it written down in my notes at home. The average family, I did our math on this, and I'm pretty close. If you know me, I'm obviously not a fucking, say I'm in a good position financially, or I'm a fucking financial wizard. But I do study enough of financial literacy along with other things to help me out and to help get out of the position that I didn't want to be in a certain place in life. And I've applied them, but I'm just not there yet. But we don't stop. Something else was, it said the average cost of your goods and everything you were spending on, not even around approximately 2 to 3 years ago, the same household, the same goods are $600 to $800 or more. We did our math. I sat down and did it, and I was pretty close on my math on this. We have the exact same debt, the exact same bills for the last 5 years. The only debt we added was one necessary car payment, and it's almost paid for. We've added not one more debt to our household. Speaking for us and being transparent, not a credit card, not a loan, not anything. It's almost $900 a month off gas, food, any kind of consumer products. The inflation all the way around. The same exact bills. We're spending $800 to $1,000 more a month. Do that math at the end of the day, and it makes sense. I kept circling back to it, and I kept coming up between $800 to $1,000. And I said, we've added no debt to this household, not in 5 years. And if I go back 10, that's still the only debt we've added. We don't get any of those things. So, anything that most likely you've gotten from a working class standard is not going to offset that. So if you got anything this year, $1, $2, but you didn't get anything for the last 3 or 4, if the years were better and they were more profitable, they knew what they were doing. So no, people don't want your Walmart or Chili's or Olive Garden gift card when they've struggled all year. No, they don't want to make food and come to the Christmas party when they're going to go right back to the same situation on Monday. And you should be a little bit embarrassed about asking them or encouraging them to do so. People out there are struggling really just to get day to day. And you compound the holidays on top of it. If you buy no gifts, if you don't spend anything, just the advertisement, the commercial, the saturation alone is fucking stressful. You know, I just wonder what the mindset is. See, let me tell you, most people in leadership positions or authority position, just like our government, they're banking on the fact that people are uneducated on these things. That the average person day to day is so absorbed with entertainment and recreation, and most people are, that they don't have this. They don't have this kind of self-education. And most of the time in your daily life, they bank on the fact that you're not going to bring it up, that you're just going to take the shit. You know why? Because most people do. Ask yourself why you can't stand up and speak to these people. The thing is they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. It doesn't matter if it's your friend, if it's your family, your significant other, or your boss, employer, corporate. They're going to do what they're going to do anyway. Tell them to fucking do it. See, anytime you speak up and you bring up facts, people don't like truthers in this world. There's a reason they have always come after truthers. And when you're a truther, especially in the workplace, you have to do more work. You're always going to have a target on you. People like compliant. They like people who don't ask questions, that do what they're told, and because they're easier to control and take advantage of. They often overlook how hard and how much of an asset people are like myself, like ourselves, who say these things. I've had this conversation with the wife and all of my family about what's going on with their employers and different things. And I'm like, by you not saying anything, it is not going to change the outcome. They're going to do it anyway. Yeah, you're supposed to come to a holiday party. You may not get paid for the holidays. You may not got a cost, not only anything extra, not even a cost of living adjustment. I know in some cases, my own family, the Mamacita, you've got double the workload. Somebody retired, somebody left, the position might have paid 10 to 15 more $1,000 a year. They kind of snuck it in on you and didn't even tell you. When you brought it to their attention, you were able to work remote, and all of a sudden they brought you back in. Doesn't let you work remote anymore, because that was a savings of about $400 to $600 a month, and you're supposed to say thank you for doing so. Again, these are just little examples. Insert them and fit them that apply in your life. Either if you're the person in the position, or you're the person putting people in the position. We'll talk to y'all more on this on the podcast.